Should I make an LLC, an S corp, or a C corp? And now there's even this B corp thing, which I guess we could get into too. But let's just start with, if I'm starting a company in Silicon Valley, like it's a tech startup. I'm not talking about building a pizzeria, or a consulting firm. But if I'm going to start a tech company, what should I do? S corp, C corp, or LLC?
Easy short answer is C corp.
Right.
Delaware C corp.
Now, why? And what is the difference between these three types? So that is the right answer. And twice in my career, I did an LLC and an S corp. Because I had like ranky-dink attorneys, like mom and pop shops who were telling me like, oh, do LLC, do S because you're going to get this savings or that savings. But what's the difference between each one?
Well, I would say to begin with that they may have given you the right advice for the particular company. I think the point is that it's very company specific. So you want to set up the right entity for the right corporation that you're, or the right company that you're working on for the right business. The biggest difference, if you look at the LLC versus the S corp versus the C corp, the LLC and the S corp are flow-through tax entities, which means that you can avoid a level of corporate tax. S corp and a C corp are largely the same, other than the tax treatment and a filing that you need to make with the IRS to elect affirmatively to be an S corp.
Got it. And so if you're doing a mom and pop shop, that's when people tend to do these LLCs or smaller companies. Like does S corp stand for small or no?
It's just an election under the tax code.
Yeah.
Especially it means small.
It doesn't actually mean small. Because somebody told me at some point it means small company. I was like, really? No, it doesn't actually mean that.
No, and it doesn't have to be a small business. It could be. It's just there are restrictions on what types of shareholders and the number of shareholders that you can have in an S corp. So it's prohibitive to do that if you're going to be a Silicon Valley company.
Yeah. I mean, every single company in Silicon Valley is a C corp, right?
I'd say for the most part. I mean, and we end up dealing with a lot of founders that come in and say, I've been an S corp, I've been LLC, and I have a term sheet, but one of the conditions to getting funded is in fact that we go through a conversion process. So we spend a lot of time counseling folks who probably got advice similar to yours, but want to be like a normal, look like everyone else C corp.
And what is that process like of like actually changing it? It's expensive, isn't it?
Can be, we were chatting about this today because we're going through a couple of these with some clients right now. I mean, they can be cost prohibitively expensive sometimes, particularly if you're just running in a seed financing sort of circumstance, right? You want to raise $50,000, $100,000, like you probably don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money converting. The sooner you do it in your corporate life cycle, the easier, right? There's less contracts to think about, less tax consequences to evaluate, maybe need less of your accountant's time to figure it out. And they're not impossible, but they can be complicated and expensive.
Now, when you want to shut one of these companies down, what about that process? Because